What the heck happened to Outdoor Voices? This week they got acquired by a private equity company, and this is a massive fall from grace from where they were at one point, dominating the athleisure space. I'm Jordan, welcome to the channel. I teach people about sports marketing, branding, and storytelling based on my career in brand marketing at Nike. So let's talk about the landscape first of all, then we'll talk about the history of Outdoor Voices, how they rose to prominence, and what they did that was so smart. And then what happened from there, including how I was about to potentially interview for a job with them and their founder got pushed out, and now what's happening this week and what this says about the future of the industry. So let's jump in. And we're getting YouTube ramped up, so I appreciate you joining here. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you want to hear more. But we're gonna do some deep dives, expanding upon the content that I've been doing in Instagram and TikTok to this point. I'm often breaking down the latest news and insights into what's happening in our sports marketing and athleisure landscape. The reason we're talking about Outdoor Voices today is it's really important to understand this industry as a whole. Sports and athleisure are coming together in a huge amalgamation, and they're all kind of becoming the same thing. If you're young and you want to break into the industry, or if you want to grow after you've gotten your foot in the door, it's really important to understand the whole landscape and be a well-rounded marketer and be able to talk about the whole industry. So this particular topic is really close to my heart because I spent 2 years as a brand director in Nike Women's in North America, and that was a fascinating time. If you are a young man, I would highly recommend that you go to a place that is really dominated by women. You will learn so much, a great experience to be able to get yourself out of your comfort zone. I learned more during those 2 years than I did during a lot of my time in Nike across Nike football, Nike sportswear, and Nike basketball, where I finished my career. One of the major parts of that journey was learning about this brand that was taking the world by storm called Outdoor Voices. And I want to talk about the rise and fall of this company as it got acquired by a private equity company just this week. We will add Under Armour to the list of these brands, but this week we're going to focus on Outdoor Voices. It's important to unpack the landscape of athleisure and sports in general. I have my proprietary athleisure chart that shows that any company that was founded generally in the sports landscape is for men focused on footwear. And that would include your companies like Nike, Jordan, Adidas, Under Armour, Puma. All of those companies are mostly founded in verticals of specific sports. So that might be running, soccer, basketball, focused on footwear specifically. They eventually expand into apparel and doing uniforms and whatnot because that is a big business driver for them, or it is a way that they continually can serve athletes, expand their portfolio. And then we have on the other side of the chart, we have mostly women's focused, mostly apparel brands that are often centered around athleisure or activity, and not in vertical sport. So you have Lululemon, which really took the world by storm and was focused on yoga. They made a great black tight that made them billions of dollars. You have companies like Alo Yoga, who are mostly focused on women and in the yoga space. You have Fabletics, you've got Athleta. You have a lot of these women's focused brands that are often focused in apparel and focused in yoga, Pilates, dance, activity in general. Outdoor Voices is one that was this major lightning rod that captured this middle space that didn't exist before. Lululemon was focused on essentially affluent white women in yoga, and it was very expensive and it was very premium. People love that. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you had a Nike. I'll use Nike as an example here. A lot of the companies structured their companies in this way. Nike has reported about this externally, so I'm not sharing insider info here. But Nike's business is set up where you have the general Nike banner that is up there. And then you have its category offense, and really how you would perceive and experience that as a customer is through its sport offense. So you have Nike basketball, Nike running, Nike golf, Nike training, Nike football. And this is a great way to set up the company because what it allowed these categories to do, or these sport-specific teams, is then you would have a whole marketing, product, insights, research.com team focused on one specific sport or activity. And so let's use running for this example here and the founding of Ty Haney's business, who founded Outdoor Voices. She actually ran and had a great experience, but after college, she wanted to do just more exercise for her health and to have a recreational activity. And what she found was she went to the store and would try to put on things like Nike, and it felt like she was putting on a superhero costume. She did a great interview in How I Built This, the podcast, if you wanted to listen to it while her company was still hers and doing well. And we heard this a lot when I was at Nike Women's. It felt like it was very sports specific, aggro, and that was by design, really. What the product teams would do is go to people who were really focused on running and make products that were very specific for them. And one of the biggest complaints you would often hear from customers is, why don't I have pockets in my shorts? Or why do my running tights not have a pocket that's big enough to fit my phone? The response from the product team, there was this disconnect. It was often for these very specific runners who only wanted perhaps their car key that they could put in a small little pocket before phones became ubiquitous. This has now been addressed lately, but years ago, this was one of those things. Runners who were running and trying to clock their time were not taking large items like phones. They would make something very specific for people who were trying to achieve big goals. The same could be said for basketball shorts and other things. They were actually made to be worn on the court. It left this gap where people who were maybe not so serious about their activity, but still wanted to wear something comfortable and to feel great. Enter Ty Haney, who had this experience of trying to wear something, and she described putting on these tights and these pants that were filled with like 3M taping to be reflective for runners, and they had these like real tight spandex in different places and would have these crazy designs. And so she developed, amongst many products, the exercise dress that absolutely took the women's athleisure world by storm. And they made a whole brand basically as a response to these mostly male-dominated companies in the sportswear space, saying with a clever hashtag and their tagline, which was "doing things." And it was this response to the heavily focused sport brand that were in the market at the time. And women absolutely loved this. There was a lot of young women who were not trying to break a PR in a marathon, or who were not trying to shave seconds off a 5K. They just wanted to go for a run and have a good time. They wanted to take their dog on a walk. They wanted to go on a hike. They wanted to go to the park with friends. They might go to a dance class or any number of things. And there was not a lot of people making products specifically for this. So they took the world absolutely by storm. So around the time of 2017, 2018, they were crushing. They had a valuation of $110 million. They had taken on venture funding of about $65 million. And in 2017, they brought in the former Gap CEO to be an advisor to Ty Haney, who was this young woman, and these emerging female founders that were these power players. You had Emily Weiss with Glossier, Audrey Gelman of The Wing. You had the Away founders, who were young women who were doing big things and creating big companies. And women really flocked to a business like this. I think they were tired of mostly male-dominated industries and trying to serve products for them. And I think women felt seen and heard and felt and wanted to have founders who were making products specifically for them with their ethos and their mindset. I have a very interesting intersection here. I was in Nike Women's at the time, wanting to potentially move back to Texas in early 2020. This is before the pandemic. We eventually moved back to Texas in 2021 while I was still working for Nike. And I interviewed with Outdoor Voices for a vice president of a brand marketing job with them. Had a great first interview. It was awesome. And this was all really exploratory. Hey, we're going to schedule some time with you and Ty. She is on maternity leave right now, and she'll be back next week. Let's get you on her schedule. And so we were working through scheduling when I checked my phone one day and realized the Outdoor Voices world has been turned upside down. Ty Haney abruptly resigns right after coming back from maternity leave, and all of this media coverage starts coming out, saying that she was pushed out by the founders. The board of directors had started to, according to her, create a coup to basically push her out of her own company. And depending on who you trust, the board of directors would say that Ty was great at brand marketing, but she was frivolous in her spending. We don't know the true story, but what we do know is Outdoor Voices started to really suffer. They went through layoffs. They started to close some stores. It's absolutely wild to me. Ty Haney at the top of the brand could have earned millions of dollars. In an article with The Cut, she says if these days, if they sold the business, she might earn $90,000, which is wild to me considering what a massive impact they had on this business. But just this week, I saw an announcement on their Instagram that Outdoor Voices has been acquired by consortium partners. And it's so bizarre. Outdoor Voices continues to perplex me over the last few years. Ty Haney has been known to jump in the comments and talk about how bad the product was or how weird the brand was. They went through a lot of different layoffs. And this looks super bizarre to me. I went and looked up consortium partners, and it's 3 dudes on the team. They're private equity. They have investment in one other company that was founded by Reese Witherspoon out of Nashville. So who knows where this goes? In March, they closed all of their stores and laid off about 80% of their people, which is super sad to see for a company that had such an outsized impact on the athleisure and sportswear space. Now, all of the athleisure brands have something like the exercise dress, and all of them are trying to mimic this lifestyle and this feel of their brand that was very fun, bright, and not focused on trying to reach a PR in running, but it was about having fun and doing things. It'll be really interesting to see where this brand goes, and I hope that they can get it back on track because I think it occupies a really interesting space. I've created one more chart on brand affinity here. At the top, we have aspirational. At the bottom, we have affordable. Over on the left side, we have fun. And on the right side, we have serious. Way up top under aspirational and sort of serious, we have Lululemon. Lulu was essentially built for aspirational white women in Canada who do yoga at places like ski chalets and others. Alo Yoga came along. We don't have time for male gaze versus female gaze. Alo Yoga is actually founded by a couple of guys, and it comes through in their content. We'll do that next time. But Alo Yoga is very premium, probably a little more fun. It's always got some women in some wild, tangled yoga pose. And if you refer back to the athleisure chart, Alo Yoga is now trying to get into men and trying to get into footwear, just like Lululemon and all of the other athleisure brands that started with women. And Outdoor Voices was way over on this other side, on fun and kind of middle tier. They were not aspirational price point. They were not affordable like a Fabletics, but they were kind of middle tier, affordable for, say, a college young woman or a woman who had just graduated, who had some expendable income but didn't want to spend maybe $200 on a pair of tights like they would at Lulu or even Alo. Anyway, they occupy a really interesting space in the athleisure landscape. I'll be really interested to see what they see. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe in this video. You can check me out over on Instagram as well, where I'm most active, or TikTok. And let me know what you like about this video. Let me know what more you want to see, or if you have future topics. I'm happy to dive into them. Thanks so much for checking this out. See you next time.